Hi guys, welcome back to a video with a lot of feelings. Today, we will talk about a sad topic. Parents who are not good to their children. Parents should protect us, but some of them make their children's lives a bad dream. I will tell you some sad stories, and at the end of the video, I will show you how to stay safe. By the way, I got your comments in the last video. Oh my god, I love you guys so much. All you guys are my motivation to me. Someone also told me about the Bombardino Crocodilo truth. I didn't know this. Thanks for adding it. And does anyone know what 67 is? Please explain it to me. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And turn on the bell so you don't miss these stories. Trust me, I will be here to protect you. Now, let's start.
1. A mother starved her daughter to keep her a little girl.
Some parents turn love into sick control. This mother made her daughter starve until she was very thin and sick. She did this just so her daughter would stay small like a doll. Let's learn about this scary story.
Her parents starved her so she could be their little girl forever. Now I want you to look at this girl and I want you to comment how old you think she is, okay? Here's another photo of her. Comment and then I'll tell you how old she was. She was 16 in this photo and she weighed 60 pounds. Officials warned them that she could pass from this and her dad dismissed it, saying that they were crazy. But like that actually is the reason, like they wanted her to stay their little girl forever, like ew, what? And that's why they put her on this crazy diet. They had a rich family, they lived in Australia. Also, her face is covered and the parents' names are not out to help protect her identity. Started their investigation after her ballet teachers tipped them off. And that really shows what, like, a good teacher or mentor or just adult in your life can do for you. Just how amazing some role models or educators really are. But CPS got involved. They have been charged and sentenced. They're hiding their faces here, as they should. Who does this to a child? Like, good for them for realizing something was wrong and doing something about it. Because I feel like a lot of times we're like, oh, like, it's not my kid. The parents can handle it. I hope they rot. And I'm ready to know who they are. I'm ready. This is going to ruin her for the rest of her life. But I'm glad she's now in a place where she is safe and she is able to begin her recovery. But it's going to suck and it's going to be so hard and she's going to struggle with this forever. All because of these two monsters.
My parents always told me that even when I grow up, I'll still be their little princess. I hope it's the same for all of you out there, right? A kind and caring teacher changed a little girl's life, proving that one good adult can make a big difference. My lovely friends, always pay attention to the people around you. If you see something wrong, don't be afraid to speak up.
2. A mother locked her daughter in the dark for over a decade.
Imagine not going outside for a week. That might sound nice if you're an introvert. But what about for 10 years? That's a nightmare. Some parents take away their children's whole world. This mother, along with her husband, locked her little girl in a dark room for more than 10 years. The girl had no light, no one to talk to, and no love. Let's learn about the sad story of Jeannie Wiley.
Disturbing footage shows Jeannie Wiley being allowed outside after being trapped in a dark room for over a decade. Jeannie was a victim of severe abuse, neglect, and social isolation. When she was approximately 20 months old, her father began keeping her in a locked room. During this period, he almost always strapped her to a child's toilet or bound her in a crib with her arms and legs immobilized, forbade anyone from interacting with her, provided her with almost no stimulation of any kind, and left her severely malnourished. Clark Wiley, Jeannie's brutal dad, turned into a cruel psychopath after his mom was killed in a hit-and-run accident by a drunk driver. From that moment on, Wiley kept a private life and made sure the family house was always dark with the curtains closed and doors bolted shut. Irene Wiley, the mother of Jeannie, also lived in the disturbed house. She suffered with very bad cataracts and was controlled by Clark out of fear. The couple had 4 children, but only 2 barely survived. The first 2 died as babies, one alone in a cold garage and the other through birth complications. Jeannie was 13 years old when she was finally discovered by authorities. Her father, Clark Wiley, shot himself at 70 just before he was due in court for child abuse after getting arrested, leaving behind a note which simply read, "The world will never understand." At 18, Jeannie moved back into the house she was abused in with her mother. Head over to my YouTube channel if you want to see an in-depth look at this case. I will be releasing it soon. Link in my bio.
He was locked up and went through a terrible time, but at least she survived and was saved. But some people are not so lucky. For example, in the next case,
3. A mother beat her daughter to death for eating pancakes too slowly.
some parents use violence to punish small mistakes. This mother beat her adopted daughter to death just because the little girl ate her pancakes too slowly. Let's look at the horrible story of Ariel Robinson.
Worst Parents Ever, Part 7. This is the case of Ariel Robinson, one of the winners of the Worst Cooks in America. So pictured here we have 30-year-old Ariel Robinson, her husband Jerry, their 2 kids on the far right, as well as their 3 foster children, 3-year-old Victoria and her 2 brothers. So on the morning of January 14th of 2021, Jerry was doing yard work when he claimed to hear Victoria screaming from the kitchen and Ariel spanking her. The supposed reason to beating her was because she was not eating pancakes fast enough. Jerry didn't intervene, and moments later he came in the house and found Victoria's lifeless body, then proceeded to try and revive her with Tylenol and an Epsom salt bath. Victoria was already suffering cardiac arrest, and by the time they got her to the hospital, she was no longer alive. Ariel first tried putting the blame on Victoria's older brother, saying he had anger issues and beat her, but then put the blame on Jerry. Still, after all of this, Ariel got life in prison, and Jerry faces 10 to 20.
Luckily, Ariel got life in prison. A person like that does not deserve to be free. Hitting a child just for eating slowly? That's crazy. My lovely friends, please eat what you want, when you want. Don't force yourself to eat when you're full. And if someone tells you to clean your plate, listen to your body instead. Don't let sugar harm you. And remember to brush your teeth. This story reminds us that violence is never the right way to teach.
4. A mother sat on her foster son and killed him.
Some parents use their power to hurt their children. It's terrible when children can't fight back because they are small and weak. This mother sat on her foster son, which stopped him from breathing and killed him. Let's look at the horrible case of poor Jennifer Wilson. Be ready, because this will scare you.
The woman who sat on her son and crushed him to death, Jennifer Wilson. One day, the son ran away to a neighbor's house, and Jennifer Wilson reported it to the police. After reporting the police, the son was then returned home. After the mother and son were alone, the son was acting up and throwing himself on the ground in front of the house. Because the son was complaining, the 340-pound woman then sat on top of her 90-pound son and was crushing him to death. The woman apparently thought the son wasn't really dying, and she thought he was faking it the whole time, until she got up and noticed that his eyelids were pale. The woman was sitting on her son for at least 5 minutes straight. The son was not breathing, and he didn't have a pulse, and was taken to the hospital, but was taken off of life support 2 days later. Before his death, the son said that the mother was abusive and would slap his face, and the mother wasn't his biological mother, it was his foster mother. The whole thing was caught on camera, and all you can hear is the boy screaming in pain. Jennifer Wilson was soon arrested and is only facing up to 6 years in prison.
He was only 6 years old. And look at her body. Oh my God. What's even worse is that he tried to ask for help, but he was ignored. If I were her, I would regret it for the rest of my life. The boy was abandoned by his drug-addicted birth parents, by the social protection system, and by society. If he had been a celebrity's child, maybe more people would have cared. But because he was an orphan, people only noticed when it was too late. I hope that one day, all children will be seen as priceless.
5. A boy was forced by his father to run to his death.
Do you like to exercise? We know that exercise is good for us. But today, we will talk about a story where exercise was used in a horrible way. This is the tragic case of a young boy who was forced to exercise too much by his own father. He was pushed to his limit, and it led to his death. This story will make you question the true meaning of cruelty. We will talk about Christopher Greger and his son, Corey Machalo. You will see the sad details of how a father pushed his son to run on a treadmill over and over. You will learn about the terrible things that happened to the boy and the shocking actions of his father after he passed away. Watch to the end to learn more about this heartbreaking story.
A 6-year-old would lose his life by treadmill, all at the hands of his insane dad. Sadly, this brings us to 31-year-old Christopher Greger and his 6-year-old son, Corey Micholo. Surveillance camera would show on March 20th of 2021. Christopher forces Corey on this treadmill and keeps increasing the speed faster and faster, and also inclines it, so at this time Corey's legs are just running as fast as they can. Well, Corey goes flying off the treadmill, hits the ground, and then Christopher forces him back onto it, kind of holds him down on the treadmill, and as you can see here, he's biting Corey on the head. And a good amount of time goes by with this cycle happening over and over, with Corey running as fast as he can but falling off. He even hits his head, but his dad still forces him back on it, and like I said, each time Corey falls off, jumps back up on it before his dad finally slows down the treadmill and drops the incline, but he still forces Corey to keep running. A little over a week later, on April 1st, Corey is taken to the pediatrician by his dad, and the pediatrician gives him a clean bill of health, but questions some of the bruising that Corey has. Corey says he got these bruises from being on a treadmill because his dad said he was too fat. The next day, Corey wakes up with slurred speech, nausea, and trouble breathing, so his dad brings him to the hospital at around 4 o'clock, and then he is given a CT scan, to which he has a seizure, and by 5 o'clock, he'd pass. It would be just 20 minutes after Corey passed, and security footage would see Christopher leaving the hospital. Nurses testified in court that Christopher was very emotionless and that he would leave Corey's side multiple times, coming back in the room, then leaving again, and they were the ones that stayed with Corey while he was fighting for his life. On April 3rd, an autopsy would be performed, with the COD being blunt force trauma of the chest and abdomen. He had lacerations on his heart and liver, contusions on his lung. Christopher's search history would show him asking questions like, will red marks turn to bruises? Asking if his phone can be tracked in airplane mode or if his car can be tracked. Also asking about gastrointestinal bleeding, and then even asked if there was a homicide found in an autopsy, how long to file charges. Christopher would turn down a plea deal, meaning that if convicted, he faces life. Corey's mom contacted CPS numerous times, to which they did nothing.
Corey's story is truly heartbreaking. It's hard to believe that a father could treat his own child so cruelly. This case is a painful reminder that not everyone deserves to be called a parent, and that cruelty can hide behind a normal appearance. The most horrifying thing is the father's emotionless attitude and calculated actions afterward, which show he had no remorse at all.
6. A mom forbids her child from a birthday party because of a B+.
Some parents punish their children for small mistakes. This mom ruined her daughter's fun just because of a B+ grade. Let's learn about this story.
The worst parents of all time. When this girl was 11, she was a straight A student, and it was her best friend's birthday party coming up, and she was so very excited. Well, report cards came in one day, and turns out she got a B in one of her classes. Well, her parents were pissed. They grounded her on the spot, and they told her that she couldn't go to her best friend's birthday party. She told her best friend's mom what happened. Her best friend's mom knew how tough it was for her at home, because she was constantly being yelled at, belittled, and hit by her parents all the time. So on the day of the party, right before it was gonna start, her best friend's mom drove to her house, barged in the door, and said this: "Sweetie, hi, I need you to get ready, pack a bag, you're coming to my daughter's party and you're spending the night, okay? Quick, let's go. Excuse me, you are not taking my daughter anywhere. She is grounded and staying home tonight." "Oh, is that so? Well, how about I call Child Protective Services on you for the 50 cats pissing and in your house?" That's what I thought. Have a great night.
It is good to help children study well, but harsh punishment only teaches them fear, not love. A B+ grade is not a reason to ruin a child's happiness. Let them enjoy their childhood, my dear friends.
7. Parents imprison and torture 13 children.
Some parents can turn their family home into a prison. David and Louise Turpin imprisoned and tortured their 13 children for many years. Let's learn about this horrific story.
This couple had 13 children together and kept them as their own prisoners for over 20 years. This is David and Louise Turpin, and they lived together in Fort Worth, Texas. In 1988, David and Louise decided to keep their children inside and did not allow them to speak to anyone outside the house. Over the next few years, Louise continued to give birth, bringing the total number of children up to 13 in their small house. David and Louise forced their children to live in terrible conditions. They were deprived of food and water, tortured, and forced to live in an extremely dirty house their entire lives. This treatment went on for over 20 years, and during this time, neighbors had no idea of the horrors that were taking place next door. David and Louise subjected their children to this treatment no matter what their age was. Their oldest was 29 years old and the youngest was only 2. One day, their daughter Jordan managed to get out after planning her escape for over 2 years. Jordan brought police to the home where they discovered the horrifying details. The home smelled of dead animals, rotten food, and trash was scattered everywhere. Luis and David were immediately arrested and the remaining children were rescued from the home. The children have since been treated and relocated to other foster families. Following their trial, both Luis and David were sentenced to life in prison for the crimes committed against their own children.
Even with explanations, I can't understand why they wanted to take away their children's freedom. Luckily, their children are now free. They are learning to eat when they are hungry, to laugh when they are happy, and to live without fear. That is the most powerful thing. Drop a comment and let me know which lost media game or video you want me to explore next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow so I can keep protecting you from these creepy mysteries. Thanks for watching, my dear friends. See you in the next video. Bye.